Today, on a windy Saturday morning, we will talk about free agency. It's kind of free agency eve with tampering period starting Monday. We'll talk about what we think the Bengals are going to do, top free agents, the big trade, bleh, and much, much more coming up next on the Brotherhood of the Bengal.
Brotherhood of the Bengal. Brotherhood of the Bengal. In the river fog we gather, striped and bound by autumn air. Hands on hearts we share the stories of the claws and of the lair.
What's up, Stevie boy? What's happening on this windy Saturday, my friend?
Good morning, my friend. Still beautiful though.
You're so chipper this morning.
Still beautiful. Yeah, everything went just how I
Such a
planned
happy on this Sunday.
it. Yeah, just how I planned it.
Sunshine makes a huge
It does.
difference. It's gonna be rainy later, but
Yeah.
Sunday and Monday gonna be nice.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to talk about today, my friend. We're gonna have a live show on Monday. YouTube live only. We'll be straight on YouTube, so it won't be on the audio podcast. All your favorite podcasts, including Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeart. You can find us there, video on YouTube, but we will be live on YouTube Monday. What do you think? 1:30 p.m., 1:45, somewhere around in there. I'll put a link up. We're going to talk about it. Hopefully, typically Bengals fashion, nothing happens on that Monday. Or if it is happen, they keep it under the radar. But I think they're going to be aggressive, and we're going to talk about it all. And we'll be there live Monday, Steve. Boy, it's going to be fun. We'll be sitting right here in what was formerly known as BTD Studios. Now it's the Brotherhood Studio of the Brotherhood. I like
Yes. Our first live of the year.
Mhm.
First of many.
that. Many.
It's going to be fun. This is probably, other than opening day, Monday's probably one of my favorite, even including the draft.
Really?
Well, that whole Ted Karras and that whole group that was 21, 22,
Yeah.
and how everything happened so quickly.
They did a great job.
That was super exciting,
that was.
dude. You know what I mean? Like, I was at work and I was like, nothing got done that day. Nothing got done because I was constantly on at the time Twitter, constantly just refreshing. And it was like, and then like the next day, then there was another one. And I was just like, it was just really cool because you're getting known commodities when it comes to free agency. So when when they go out and get people that can help day one and not that you're hoping will help day one.
Yep.
I think that's what's so exciting. And with the cap space they have and with all the buzz around them saying how much they want to do, which really Duke only said one time last year and was at the combine that he didn't want to have the same team for the same money and all that kind of stuff. Really, that they wasn't really that outspoken. So I am hopeful that our Cincinnati Bengals will go out and spend some money and get us some help on defense.
Cautiously optimistic. We will see. It will certainly break a pattern. But like you said, the DJ Reader, that whole phase there where Von Bell, trade for BJ Hill, Trey Hendrickson, of course, right? Apologize for the wind. Hopefully it's not overriding us too much. It's kind of gusty today. It feels good still, 70 degrees or whatever it is. So, yeah, we'll see. But we got plenty to talk about. We'll hit free agency right now and talk about different teams, what's going on. Then we'll get to the Bengals. But unfortunate news. I don't know how I feel about it, though. I jokingly said unfortunate news and all that kind of stuff. Because, short term, I don't think you can argue it if he's healthy. Maxx Crosby got traded to the Ratbirds, in case you didn't hear, for a 2026 and 27 first-round pick this year. That's a 14th pick overall. So the Raiders, we talked about it several weeks ago. I thought they should trade Crosby because, they've got plenty of cap space anyway. Now they got, they're not even they got 2/3 cap space. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Or third cap space. They got 2/3 left. They only use it. It's amazing what they've got. I think I said that backwards. You got me either way. So, you're building around Mendoza, Genty, and Bowers, and now you got a chance to replenish a little bit the free agency and certainly the draft. Then you got 2 draft picks, next year as well. So for Baltimore's sake, from their perspective, that is going all in. It is. That's a lot to give for him. And I'll give my thoughts as to why. I don't want to lead you. What's your thoughts on the trade? Crosby to the Ratbirds. I wish he went somewhere else, but he didn't. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it makes me want to vomit to know
Really?
that he went to Baltimore.
Yeah, it surprised me. I didn't think they'd be in the running.
I didn't either. I still think it's a haul, man. The players you could get, and then I know Baltimore's probably always thinking it's going to be bottom of the first round, and it's probably more that middle to bottom, right?
It has been.
So you're
this year.
You're not giving up, a top 10 pick, unless Lamar would happen to get hurt. You never know what can happen when that kind of thing happens, right? So if that's the case, I still think 2 first rounders, and then what you're painting, and what you could get in those 2 drafts. But you know what? You got to kind of tip your hat to them, because they're going all in. They're showing that, hey, we want to win a title. We know this is the window. Lamar isn't going to be Lamar forever, because I think his window's a lot smaller than Joe's.
The way he plays.
Yeah, because of the way he plays.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think, they're not dumb. They know that. And the more he gets hurt, especially lower body, the more he may go from elite athlete to really not very athletic at all.
And if he's not an elite athlete, he's not a very good quarterback. That's the only thing.
No.
That's his trait, right? The word trait gets thrown around a lot, but that's his trait. It's certainly not throwing the ball. So Crosby's 28 now, but in NFL vernacular, it's his 29 season coming up, right? He turns 29 in August. It's 29-30. That's not old. It's weird. I'll get to an analogy here in a second. I think he's a really good player, right? He is a really good player. That's one where bottom of the roster, the scout said. Same about Trey. Same about Aaron Donald. They get focused too much on quote unquote traits and forget if a guy can play or not, right?
Yeah.
That gets pushed down to the bottom. Crosby was a beast in the MAC, right? He was a beast. Trey was a beast at Central Florida. Aaron Donald was a beast at Pitt. Those guys can play, right? Sometimes you just got to look at the tape and forget all the other stuff. But so I heard. So I like this guy. So I'm not knocking him. I like Ryan Wilson. I think from CBS. I like listening to him. I watch the YouTube videos when he's on there, occasionally at the combine and stuff like that. So it's not a personal attack, but it is an attack on the media as a whole, and him being one of them. He said, he got on there and he starts talking about Trey Hendrickson. Everybody's saying it's a bad look for the Bengals, right? It's a bad look for the Bengals. He's missed a lot of time. We get that in his age. Maybe missed a lot of time because he just didn't play. And all that stuff. You know what they do, Stevie boy? They just say shit.
Yeah.
Because it's the Bengals.
It's clear.
So listen, 2022, he played 15 games, Trey Hendrickson. They only had 16 that year. That was the Hamlin day. So they said he set one out. 2023, all 17 games. 2024, all 17 games. Now let's look at Maxx Crosby, will you? Oblige me, will you? Indulge me. Crosby, 12 games last year. He would have played 17 or 12 games 2 years ago, 15 last year, but they said him. That's not his fault. So who's played more games?
Yeah.
So it's just they get that in their head, and I don't even think they look anything up. And he's one of them too. They just shoot shit out about players or whatever, especially if it's like the Bengals and it's easy picking. Trey Hendrickson's a gamer. He played hurt and he did everything else till this past year. And if they were in a contention, I think he might try to come back then. So that's all hogwash. He didn't do anything because he's with the Bengals, right? Now you can argue that it didn't work out because of the Bengals brass, and I might even agree with you, right? But that, just the constant ridicule, it doesn't bother me. It's just the media. You just can't believe anything they say. You agree with that, or your thoughts?
It's the media part of it. Yeah, it's just because I used to love to watch it. I used to, remember getting on Fox or ESPN or these places, and let's see if they talk about the Bengals today, and see the national perspective of what's going on, what could happen, this and that. It's gotten so bad that I don't even have it. I don't even subscribe to none of it. So I don't watch it on X. I just keep scrolling, brother. I don't care for it. Most of their clicks, if not all their clicks, are ridiculous. Adam Schefter is an idiot. I don't care for it. I don't like it. And as far as the Trey situation in general, the guy didn't want to be here no more. Yeah. And that they could not get along. I mean, because I don't think there was a trade market at all for a tag and trade.
If there was a third round market at the trade deadline, they looked like fools. That was the rumor.
But here's the thing:
they should trade.
Trey still got to agree to whatever team that wants to be there. Well, why would you even want to do that? Just go to free agency and go to the exact team you want to go to,
but it would have
been, still get paid.
But a third round pick wouldn't have been for an extension. They just wanted to rent him for the rest of the year.
Yeah, they wouldn't have done that. It would have had to been an extension, or he wouldn't have signed the tag.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I still think the Bengals look bad if they could have got a third round pick at him at the trade deadline. Now, who knows if that's true or not? That was the rumors, right? Thing about the media, my thing is, like, I believe that people get into it genuinely. It's like politics. You may start gung-ho and be, what's the word I'm looking for? Idealistic. And I'm going to make a change and do all that. So they do that, and then they get the ESPN, and they don't have enough spine to stand up to the brass there. Because all the brass wants is Stephen A. Smith, what used to be Michael Irvin, what's his name, McAfee. He's not as bad as them, honestly, but he's still bad. It's all just about ridiculousness, right? So used to be you turn on John Clayton, Salisbury, they would joke with each other, but it was still football time. Mm-hmm. Berman did his nicknames, and Tom and him had a great rapport, but it's still football, right? And Fox used to be the best pregame. It was a smaller crowd, too. They want to have 58 people in there now, right? So it's the competition is how many clicks can I get? And honestly, now the people they're trying to reach want that, or it wouldn't work, right? So it's tough. But Wilson's not that way, honestly. He just jumped in on the – I actually like him. He just jumped in on the – Trey don't want to be there. You just hear it over and over and over.
I agree with that. Trey don't want to be there, and I don't think the Bengals want him there anymore either. I think that relationship was just shot. I think because we don't know what is said in those negotiations. We don't know what's said to the agents, what the agents have said.
I think if they would have paid him big, he's there. And they didn't want to. And I don't disagree.
Well, it kind of shows that they probably shouldn't have. Because last year probably would have been on that second. This year would have been on that third, and you wouldn't have known, what big kind money, of year, and the big money. Instead of having $56 million, you're having around 20 or 30, and you're just not able. And again, I said it before. He's been on these teams. He was on that team 2 years ago. That was pitiful, and he did make a difference. So they need more than just Trey Hendrickson, and they're going to go out and spend and use that money to do so.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think couple thoughts. So you look at the salary cap, and in terms of pro sports, the NFL, it's not a hard cap. They can call it a hard cap all they want. It's not a hard cap. If it was, you couldn't restructure contracts and do whatever the hell you want to with them. The Saints, for example, and other teams, way over the cap, wake up the next morning, they restructure a few contracts, and now they're 20, 30 million under, right?
Right.
So that's my point on that is I wish it was a harder cap. Then you have to plan for the future a little bit better. But the Bengals play like it is a hard cap, So you're at a big-time competitive disadvantage when you don't think forward. The cap's growing. We talked about that. You think forward, the cap's going to grow anyway. We signed this guy. We're overpaying. We can't do it. Do you want to win or not? If you do, you can restructure them anyway. You got Burrow, Chase, T, and all this stuff. Like the Crosby, they're going to absorb that easily, the Ravens are, convert it into signing bonuses. And little to no impact, right? They gave up draft picks. But the Bengals got to start, we talked about it, they got to start forward thinking a little bit. Catch up with the league here, because that's label of them in the national media is correct. They're behind the times.
Yeah. They should have already did it with Joe. I know Joe will do it. I guarantee you, like I said a few weeks ago, he would probably run to Mike's office and be like, let's do this. Instead of being 56, let's be 76 or 80. I'm sure Jamar and T will take that money right now because that's all it is. It's money up front. I don't. All three of these guys would do that.
Yep.
And doesn't sound like that's going to happen. And to me, I think you would do it. You would have did it last night, maybe today, latest tomorrow. We'll get into the free agency thing for a minute, but let's be honest. They're negotiating right now. They're tampering already.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't have these contracts already set on Monday at noon and be like, we just now did this.
Wayndale Robinson's already supposedly with the Titans and all this kind of stuff. So the Bengals are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Steelers are slightly ahead of now, effective cap space, right? So really they're 40 million, right? Under. The Raiders are 103 under. 120 on 121 the cap space, but you see how that goes, dead money and all that jazz, and all that other stuff factors in. But they could easily, if they restructure, I think they can get like 40, 50 million. They could be up there at the top.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, unless you spend it, doesn't need you. I don't care if you're top 10 in the cap space. Who cares? You know, they've tried to be there every year to carry over, do this, and it doesn't matter. What does matter, I'd rather be 28th in the league in cap space and have an elite Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Everybody's caught up in, we got it. Doesn't do any good unless you spend it.
Yep.
You got to, you can have all the weights in the world in the gym and all the protein powders and all that. If you don't take them, you don't work out, it's not going to do any good. And that's where they're at. They got to react a little bit better on that. So we'll see. See what they do. We'll go into who we think will go. But first of all, we're going to go with their own free agent, Stevie Boy. Dalton Risner's back. We talked about it. I like that. Is there anybody else on the Bengals you want to come back, my friend? It's getting windy out here, my friend.
No, not really. I mean,
Osai? God, good God, what a man.
Yeah.
Joseph
No. I think they need a change. They need a reboot on that defensive line, especially with new defensive line coach. Let's just hit reboot and Murphy started to come on. You got a few things you might be able to build on. So yeah, just I'm not interested in no side.
Just to be clear, you don't want Geno Stone and Noah Fant back.
I'm not even.
You don't want Noah Fant back.
I'm not even going to talk about that.
Geno Stone. Well, he'll get somewhere, I guarantee it. All right, let's look at some top free agents. I got a list of them here somewhere, Stevie Boy. The list doesn't matter who's number one on their list. Don't really care. I do care about who I like. Not so much who you like. I do care about who I like, but we'll get into it. So according to The Athletic, you can pull up whichever one you want. They've got Trey Hendrickson, numero uno, still available. Jalen Phillips, number 2, and you see his name bantied about. I like him, and I thought he played pretty well when he went to Philly, but I don't trust him. Those 2 major injuries, right?
Yep.
I'm not paying him big money. You?
No, I'm not paying him big money either. I like his age, and I like his production when he's in there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's some serious.
And and where they're at now, they need stability. They need a guy that can go in there and reliability, and a guy can go in there and help these young guys too. You know what I mean? They don't have too many veterans in there, so yeah, no.
Devin Lloyd from the Jaguars, I like a lot, but man, I think he's going to get big money for off-the-ball linebacker. But I posted a poll. People responded. I forgot to tag it and do it all right. But big game hunting is big game hunting. Would Devin Lloyd make a difference on this team? You damn well, you better believe he would. Big time difference,
no, you're
right?
Yep.
But that's a lot of money. But if you're not going to spend it elsewhere, he's a hell of a signing. He's a hell of a player.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it. I broke down 5 games of his. Watched 5 games, all 22. He had a hell of a football year. And he doesn't have the protection up front that he had in Jacksonville. But, man, that'd be a good one. Tyler Linderbaum's, one of my favorites out there, right? And will the Ravens still try to get him? Yeah, the rumor is the Bears, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bears were hot and heavy, supposedly, in the Crosby thing. They traded Devin, I forgot his name, Moore from the receiver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Traded him to Buffalo. I don't know about that.
That was not a good trade, dude.
Tough one. He's not top end, right? Mike Evans is still out there. Kenneth Walker is going to get, Malik Willis, we talked about. Eddie and Pierce is going to hit the open market because the Colts transition tag Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So what that is, if you don't know, saves him like $5-6 million, whatever it is. But if a team comes in, this has happened rarely. It's rarely a team transitions anybody. And when they do, another team could come in, look at the Colts salary cap, construct everything so they can't fit him in, and sign him. If you remember Alex Mack.
Yeah, I remember.
One of the best centers in the league. The Browns said, that's okay, we'll transition him. Don't have to worry about it. Stupid. Atlanta came in, constructed the contract. There's no way the Browns can match it. He gone. For nothing. You get nothing out of him, right? I don't think that'll happen here. Daniel Jones, that's big money for a guy. All right, Odafe Owe from the formerly known San Diego Chargers, the Lightning Bolts. He was with the Ratbirds. came on for them pretty strong. 7.5 sacks in 7-8 games, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of money he had. Do you think they'd look at him perhaps, or do you think they just leave Edge the way it is?
No, they'll get an edge. I'm kind of looking for them to maybe get because they signed Reisner, because they've re-signed Ted. That's going a little bit over that age limit that they usually like. If they have any sense of this needs to be the year or the next 2 years needs to be the year, because they usually look at 5 years down the road, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't go after a aging veteran to come in, because there's a bunch of guys they like, man. Let's see, a few names. Clowney had a good year last year. You could probably get him for maybe $8 to $12 million. Rotation guy. You're still letting Shamar. You're still letting Murphy play. Maybe a few of those guys to come in and again, you're talking about. I mean, Clowney has had a good career, just not a great career, right? He's just been solid.
He can pass rush,
but he can pass rush, and he bats a lot of balls, dude. I think he leads the league most years, but he's just one of many. Another one that I like, Draymond Jones, came from Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one.
High State boy.
Yeah, almost 30 years old.
Talk shit to Burrow in a game.
Yeah, which Burrow probably likes.
Oh, they're friends.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're friends.
Just somebody like that, because I think, in my mind, the money, I think, is going to go on the back end. I think they're going to sign a Brian Cook or
Coby
Bryant, somebody like that,
type.
Right? And I think that's probably where the majority of the money will go. Bring in that $8 to $12 million guy to help these defensive ends. Defensive tackle's just not there, dude. It's just
that Walker from the Denver, but I think you're going to overpay for him.
Yeah.
I just don't see that being a fit. So I think, with all that being said, I think there's going to be some disappointed Bengals fans. What I think.
John Franklin Myers is a defensive tackle. So.
Yeah. Myers is. He's their age limit, like you said. He's a good player, but I think he's going to command a decent amount of money, right?
Yes.
I don't think they'll touch the offensive line. So we're talking big fish here. They're going to hit role players and all that, like you mentioned. But it almost feels, again, like that's the hard part. You can say, hey, we're going to save salary cap, and we're going to hit – it's similar to the draft, and I'll get to it, but we're going to go after it in 2027 offseason, right? Next year, you're a team. We're going to save a bunch of cap, and we're going to hit it. Well, you can only sign who's there. And guess what happens to the vast majority of the star players? They get re-signed or tagged.
Yeah.
So when you save all that cap money, you either got to do one of two things: guy injury, like we talked about, or you overpay.
Oh, you're overpaying.
Or the age thing doesn't matter, right? So that's where you pin yourself in a little bit. I'll tell you some guys I like. We mentioned this on previous shows. I like Brisker. I don't think he fits their team though, because I think he's similar to Battle. I just don't see Battle as a high safety, right? I see him as in the box, very similar to Brisker. Coby Bryant now is a different beast. I'd go hard after him. I think he's going to be in demand, though. Greg Newsome, I mentioned. He's going to be a cheap corner from Jacksonville. I think he'd come in and give you some rotation, but not a big fish. Wayndale Robinson is kind of a big fish, and I think he's too pricey for what they're doing. But, again, would he help the team at slot? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Big time. So would Calvin Austin. I like Wayndale Robinson a lot better than Calvin Austin. Boye Mafe, who, I liked him a lot coming out. He's been somewhat underachiever at edge. But like you said, I think their ego, and they want to see what happens with the draft and their own players. I don't think they'll hit edge or linebacker, and I think linebacker is a big weakness. They don't. You listen to them talk, right? We talked about it. At the combine, it's not about showing your hand or not showing your hand. I think they're legitimately speaking highly of Knight and Carter in year 2, right? I think that's what they believe that.
Mm.
I believe Knight can be okay. Is he going to be a second round high level linebacker? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think Carter's good enough, but they do. So what are you going to do, right? They're not going to do it. And Quay Walker would be another linebacker I really like, but I don't think they touch that. So the question comes down in the offseason of big game hunting. I don't see it.
No, I'd say probably safety. I love Blankenship, right?
Yeah, Reed Blankenship.
Yeah. And I mean, if you go on down, linebacker Devin Lloyd, which was already brought up. I really like Devin Bush. I mean, look,
linebacker. He's been underachieved. He played good last year.
He's 27 and a half years old. Turned 28 about to start his season. I mean, and he did have a really good year.
He played better last year. He played Pittsburgh.
He really did. Yeah. So I mean, those are just those are the type of players that they'll get. There's so many of them that are in that range, right? But yeah, I think they'll go out and get a linebacker. I really do, but it ain't gonna be a splash guy. I think all these signings are going to be we'll be like, okay, if you put all these pieces together, it'll definitely help.
I hope so. Cam Curl with the Rams safety, I like him, but he signed a 3-year, $36 million deal yesterday or day before, and I think Blankenship's going to end up in that range.
Yes, yeah.
So the thing is, though, like then you're like we talked about, you fill all the holes and it makes you free, right, in the draft, but it can also pin you in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you sign Blankenship to 3-year, $36 million, you're probably not going to draft Downs.
I don't think that stops you from drafting.
It would me, but I bet it would them. Because they believe in Battle. Now we got it solved. We got Blankenship. We got Battle. We'll go somewhere else, right?
Downs is such a different player, though, because he can play in the slot.
Oh, he is. He's a beast, in my opinion. But, on that note, like we talked about Mike Mayock, right? I like Mayock as a media guy listening to him, but his evaluations are horrible. And I thought about that after we talked about him. So, his draft was horrible at the rate. When he picked Cleveland Farrell from Clemson, I was like, that's dumb. He's just looking at – a lot of GMs fall into that. I want a proven winner. I want a guy that's been on winning teams. I want – they do that, and you get a bunch of guys that are nice, leaders, good guys, but they're not good enough. You can have the best leadership in the building, but if you're not good enough, you don't win, right? And that's what he did. But he doesn't believe Downs is a top 10 player. I don't understand that.
I don't understand that either.
He's my top-rated player, and we'll talk about that later. So you don't predict any big-name guys, any top guys at any position. I don't think I do either.
I don't either.
I just don't see.
I mean, there's one big name out there that I think would fit absolutely perfect. Character, off the field, team leader, proven winner. He's up in age, but I think what he would do with that linebacker room would be tremendous, and that's Bobby Wagner. If you could get Wagner in there, he still plays at a pretty decent level, man.
He old,
and he is old. Yeah, but you're not asking him to come in and play 1,000 snaps. I mean, let these young guys, because if they're that high on them, let them see what it's like to play in the NFL. And I think that guy, he's been a hell of a player in the NFL, and I think he's a guy that would. I think he would change the room, to be honest with you. I really do.
It's tough because, they had Vaughn and some of those guys later on to do that when he brought him back, and they can't play, right? He played pretty well last year. I don't know. That's a tough one. So we'll look at, other teams, Baltimore now. So now they got the edge in Crosby, right? So it's even on the R-Labs depth chart, which is pretty funny, right? So there it is. Maxx Crosby trade. I didn't think they were allowed. Nothing's official. They could back out of it. So they're losing Linderbaum, perhaps. Falele, the right guard, perhaps, on offense. And then on defense, they're kind of going to be the same team, it looks like, plus you're adding Maxx Crosby, right? And Matabuke will be back, but will he be the same player? That's what hurt them. If he's in there all year, that defense is pretty good, right? That's how much a guy in the middle, that big guy in the middle matters. Cleveland. So Cleveland made a few trades, right? Supposedly, allegedly, for Titus Howard, right tackle. But they got Batonio, Pacic, and Teller that may all leave, right? So on offense, they got outside of tight end and running back, right? Wentz picking up. Defense, Devin Bush, who you mentioned. I would probably take him instead of Wagner, but money wise, who knows? So they're kind of going to be. They've got a ton of holes, right? But they've got a couple draft picks, one from Travis Hunter. Deal. Pittsburgh. Who knows what Aaron Rodgers drama is back. He doesn't know if he's playing. They lose Samolia Isaac, left guard. Aaron Rodgers, Kenneth Gainwell, who played pretty well for him. Connor Hayward. But MVS is gone. But Calvin Austin's a nice little player. Their offense is still not very good, right? Right now, their offense is not good. Pittsburgh.
No.
And on defense, Kyle Duggar's a little older. We talked about. I would have liked him last year's fit. Those 1-year deals, right? They'll sign tight ends to 1-year deals.
Yeah.
That's what they should have. They should have done that every year and get like a situational pass rusher when things are tough. So yeah, I think roster-wise, I know many will disagree, but like you said, if they just bring in several solid players, they're not that far off, if off at all, because the AFC North's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Crosby will help the Ravens. Long term, we'll see. Now, before we go on here, I'll talk about value, right? Everybody talks about value. What did the Rams do with their first? They have 2 first-round picks. What did they do with one of them, Stevie boy?
What was that? Sorry,
the Rams. They traded first-round pick.
Yeah.
Do the Rams value first-round picks? Not
No,
like
they
everybody
do not.
else.
They do not.
Do the Rams have a Super Bowl trophy on the mantle?
They do.
Are they contenders just about every year?
All but one. Yes.
Yep. So that tells you something. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. My thoughts are, like you mentioned it, you go out and sign free agents, you know what you're getting. The draft, you don't always know what you're getting, right?
Nope.
So, and teams that have multiple picks have them for a reason. It's because they stink. So the Rams don't value it. I'll use the comparison to the Edmonton Oilers. Sorry to bore you guys that aren't hockey fans, but they're my favorite team. They got the best player in the world, South America. They got another player who's top 5, South America. Think Chase, Burrow, think McDavid, Dryden. What they do every year, their goaltending sucks every single year, and they can't fix it. so they're trading every draft pick. They trade every first round pick to go in, right? Because in hockey, your first round pick's not going to make a difference for a championship team for years, and you can argue that in NFL unless you're picking up there at the top, right? So they keep doing it, and guess what? The national media, hockey media, is all over them. They didn't do enough. They just traded a first round pick, bought in 2 or 3 players. They're going for it. Been Stanley Cup 2 years in a row. They're going for it. They're not getting over the hump. That's going for it, though, right? And I think that's what the Bengals should do. They should devalue the last 3 or 4 years. They should have devalued draft picks and traded them for veterans that can play, right?
Yep.
And this whole thing might look different. It might hurt you 3 years from now. The teams bounce back quickly. The Rams took 1 year out, and boom, they're right back.
Yep. No, I agree. Probably, I'll say 90%. So the only thing about doing the trades for draft picks, so not only are you giving up draft capital, which we can talk about that, until we're blue in the face, is that you're also going to be paying that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different than just, you're drafting, you're taking that salary of the draft, and you can say, okay, well, if you draft the number 10 pick, I think it's like $20 million. Okay, so if you're paying somebody $30 million on the draft, then you're still paying $21 million more than what you would have. But you're getting a proven commodity in the NFL, which is what I said earlier.
Like Reed Blankenship.
Exactly.
He's playing. You're paying $12 million a year. It's a whole lot more than you're going to pay Jordan Battle or Geno Stone.
Right, and you're going to get.
But are you trying to win or not?
Right. And that also comes to the
Look at their
draft
cap
picks.
space. Look at the cap space. Like, would you rather have less cap space last year, and just for argument's sake, have a whole lot less cap space coming into this year, and play with Reed Blankenship last year?
Sure.
Yeah.
My God. Yeah. So, and then you also can go to the draft in general. Like, okay, let's say there's a guy. Whether it's Bain, Downs, Styles, Bailey. If you think that he's going to come in and he's going to be, you can't even say Pro Bowler anymore, an All-Pro or a future Hall of Famer, you think he's that good, and you've got 7 picks in the NFL draft, and you think you're close, you're in a window, and you've already spent $40 million in free agency, why wouldn't you just say, okay, I'll give up my second, my third, and my fourth, move up.
I agree.
In that top 10 and get that guy that like if Bailey's your number 1 guy
and you
on
know
the board
it, and you
know it and you're that and you want to win now and this guy is the next 10 years going to be a Cincinnati Bengal, who cares about that 3rd and 4th round pick? Because you just spent anyway. And guess what? You just had 7 draft picks last year that you say that you're big on. Then you've got in 24 and in 23, all these players, a lot of them are still on the damn team. You know what I mean? So it's like, how many how many draft picks can you keep? You're going to just keep cutting all these 6th and 5th and 7th round picks because you're not keeping the guys. Just go ahead and use that draft capital to move up and get that guys if you do what you need to do in free agency. So next Monday, they ought to be able to put a team on the field that I would say with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, and Chase Brown, and this offensive line, and with the amount of money you spend on defense, you ought to be able to go out on the field and win 10 or 11 football games.
Feel like that's your team coming into the draft.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, and then build off of that. That's what they need. Complement players that can come in and yes, we don't want to hear this, but in the second, third year really bloom. We need players this year. I get it, but you're doing that in free agency. I can't keep harping that enough.
Yeah, you look at it. You know, my argument was always that way with fantasy football way back when. When you put faces on the picks, trading down doesn't look as good. When you're just looking at draft pick numbers, it looks great, right?
Yeah.
But trading up and having that star looks good. You think about it. Charlie Jones, Yoshi, the kicker they cut, name them.
Yeah.
Put faces on all those. Would you use those draft picks to move up now? Yeah.
Sure.
That's where you got to self-scout. I think they're not the only team that goes that way. That, you know, drafts everything. I think it's changed a little bit in the NFL to a degree to the higher teams. But, you know, the Rams traded, you know, first-round pick or whatever from McDuffie. They had 2, but, you know, they ripped off a team and got an extra pick there, right? So McDuffie, that's a good player, right?
Yeah.
Kansas City, everybody thought they might be going for Crosby when they did that. Could be Kenneth Walker, right? I hope not. They're clearing space for something, right? They've got something in their plan.
Yeah.
So Kansas City's not going to lay back, right? Baltimore obviously is not going to lay back.
Yeah,
Their general manager's aggressive
because they already restructured Mahomes, so
they're aggressive.
I mean, they're aggressive. They're going to do what they needed, to do to win championships. I just don't know why they can't. The Bengals just can't look at this and say, I think it's a formula that we can use to get better. And I think restructuring Joe and having any amounts of money, and go out and get the Myers and those kind of guys, and still be able to get the role players that you want. I don't know why that can be done today, but it won't. I don't think it's going to happen. I won't say 99%, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't
never
think so.
say never.
Yeah, I give teams credit, but you can also burn yourself. Like the Colts, I thought they gave way too much for Sauce, but at the time you kind of understood it before Jones got hurt, right? And I mean, he's still going to be a high-level player.
Mm-hmm.
The chances of getting draft picks as good as him is pretty slim, very slim, right? But you're paying him a lot. DJ Moore, who I mentioned, goes to Buffalo, so Buffalo's being aggressive. I'm sure McDermott probably sitting somewhere like, hey, why didn't you do it? Or McDermott might have just said, no, I don't want that guy,
mm-hmm.
right? Which I don't know, right? But Chicago's clearing space. Dahlman retired the center. He was one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
So they think maybe they're in the Linderbaum race, which could be true, right? Could be true. All right, last point on trades.
Real quick. One thing about that Kansas City trade, what does that leave open? They just traded a corner.
All taking a corner? Absolutely.
They could vary. That puts one more corner up there to where maybe it may not be Bain, or they could still draft the running back. Or
Love's not going to be there.
No, probably not. But I mean, I think that it helps the Bengals multiple ways. One, you don't have him as corner, but it's hard telling what they're going to take that money, to go out and allocate, right? But
they need big time.
We'll see.
Big time offensive line help.
Still, but they may do that in free agency.
It's tough though. Those guys aren't. I'll get to the draft. They're not going to.
I only think they need role players though. With you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if they get a running game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They got Walker or something. Hopefully they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Love's going to go high. We'll talk about. I love this offensive line class. I'll say this as a teaser. We'll talk about the draft on Monday. I love this draft class. It's one of my favorite draft classes in years.
It. Sure.
I love
it. I like it.
It's one of the best I've seen in years, but it doesn't have the quarterback swag. So it's going to
everybody.
Cares? I don't care.
Yeah.
But other people do when they're viewing it. So it's
sure.
Mendoza, then maybe Simpson. But as a class, I think this class is very good, and I'll talk about it. I like the 3 offensive tackles. I think they're big time. And I'll talk about it.
I got a hot take later, too.
I got 30-some reports written, dude. 30-some draft reports written. I'm going to share them soon. But, all right, moving on. 0. I got 30-some. I'm going to do a bunch of them. I'll share a Bengals draft board, an overall draft board. So my top 30 is out without quarterbacks. Number 1, Caleb Downs. There you go. Number 2, Jeremiah Love. I'll share the rest later. I will share my scale today, what that looks like. But first, let's talk about quarterbacks. So Kyler Murray is out there. Kirk Cousins is out there. Probably the two biggest names. And now Geno Smith's out there. The Raiders cut him, so all but certain now they're going with Fernando Mendoza, who I think is going to be a solid quarterback. Kyler Murray. Will a team take a chance on him, Steve? Boy, I say they will.
Yeah, they will. I mean, I don't think I don't think it'll cost a ton. He's probably thinking it might be probably a 1-year deal somewhere. You know what I mean? A prove it deal.
Yeah.
Go in, win the job.
It won't be what Justin Fields got paid last year.
No. So yeah, I think he can definitely help a NFL football team for sure, because he can do a lot of things, but a lot of it's out of the pocket, right?
Oh,
he's pretty good when he gets outside, and most of the time Arizona didn't have a very good offensive line, so he was running for his freaking life anyway. He holds on the ball way too long, which gets him to put outside, right? But yeah, when he gets outside, he can make some plays.
28,
but he also needs some stuff around him. So most of the teams that probably would pick him up, I would think, wouldn't have a ton. So we'll see how that all plays out.
So Malik Willis will probably be the biggest name out there now, since I don't think anybody will mess with Daniel Jones' contract. Of course, Aaron Rodgers, who knows with that constant drama there. But Garoppolo's out there. Some teams might look at him. You can win with him in short term. Trubisky. So there's some good backups. Trey Lance. Wentz is out there. But Malik Willis will get the most money for sure. But I think Cousins will wait around. But Kyler Murray's going to be interesting to see what he does. I don't know. He's fun to watch, but he wouldn't. I mean, he's super athletic, right? Crazy athletic. With that being said, Stevie, I'm going to give you a hypothetical what if. You ready for this?
Sure.
Crazy one.
Oh, I knew that it was a what if.
It's a what if.
What it is.
I didn't want to lead you.
Right.
So I'm going to tell you, and I would not do this. But just think, before you say, oh, no way, which is what I would say, you think about it. The New York Jets have 2 picks this year.
Mm-hmm.
New York Jets have 3 picks next year. Mm-hmm. What if they came? They would do this, I'm sure. If they said they got number 2 and whatever it is in the teens, I'll give you both first-round picks this year, 2 first-round picks next year for Joe Burrow. Just hear me out. Think through it, though. Don't just react, because I would too. Think about that. Burrow's been hurt. Now you take Arvell Reese or David Bailey right there, and you get Downs maybe. Add those 2 to the defense. You sign Kyler Murray for a year or 2. You have 3 first-round picks next year. Cincinnati would lose their mind, as would I. But you think, could you win in that situation if you drafted Arvell Reese or Bailey, Caleb Downs, hit free agency because now you got a ton of cap space, bring in a Kyler Murray or even Cousins? That'd be kind of boring. Could those 2 quarterbacks play with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, and an upgraded defense? I think you're a playoff team.
I think that's it, though. I think that's it. You're not going to win a championship with it. I wouldn't even sneeze at it. And I was thinking about it. I was listening to you. I was listening to your argument. I thought it was stupid. No, I think you just build stuff around the guys you already got, and then you go and around the next 4 championships, because that's what I think Joe Burrow can do. And I'm sorry, I don't think there's going to be anybody come out in the next 2 or 3 years, even Manning. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Joe Burrow's he's a special talent, and I just wouldn't do it. No.
I think he's the best quarterback in the league, but this is where the outsiders are right. He's hurt all the time. They're not wrong.
I take that risk.
Oh, I did too, and I wouldn't want to do that to Joe, to trade to the Jets either. I feel so bad for him. But, he would be, man, he'd be sick, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But as a team, honestly, people rewrite the history. This is not apples to apples. But back in the 80s, people would say, this is a different game back in the 80s. The running back was king, not the quarterback all the time. Quarterback certainly mattered, but running backs are a big deal. Herschel Walker was a big deal. So people looking back at it now that are just looking at it through the lens of today's NFL, of course I'd do that deal if I was Jimmy Johnson. That's not how that was. Jimmy Johnson was enemy number 1 when he made that trade. You understand that? They got rid of Tom Landry. They won 1 game. They traded, the best player on their team, Herschel Walker, got a bunch of draft picks, and look what it did for them. It was ballsy. It doesn't look that way now, but it was then, big time. That would be a ballsy move.
It would be. Oh,
they would get skewered. I don't think they would, actually. They may not nationally.
They probably wouldn't nationally.
They probably would. Here, though, by you and me included, would the Jets do that? Would they trade 2 draft picks this year and maybe 2 next year? First rounders?
Maybe. Yeah,
That's
maybe.
4 first-round picks.
Yeah, they've been looking at quarterback forever.
Remember what you just said? I don't know if it's too much or it's too much. Not too much. You said that you wouldn't trade 2 draft picks that are middle or down for Crosby, who's top 5 defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
4 of them. One of them's the number 2. The other one's in the teens this year, and the Jets will probably be bad next year. That's 4 first-round picks.
That's totally. Yeah, I get all that, but I don't look at draft picks like I do players that are known commodities. I don't.
You thought it was a lot to get for Crosby. That's my point.
That's because he's defensive end that's already 28, 29 years old. He's not.
Burrow's 30. Burrow's 30. Or will be 30.
2 totally different positions. 2 totally different
in this year,
scenarios.
I think defensive end's the second most important position.
I would agree.
NFL.
I would agree with
I
that.
think it is.
But like I said before, they had the top sack leader and second and defensive player of the year, and they still was the worst defense in the league 2 years ago. So,
I know. You could spin it. You got a quarterback that's hurt all the time. You haven't won. You haven't been to the playoffs 3 years in a row. And when he was in there,
so you're hearing it here. He wants to trade Joe Burrow.
No, you're not hearing that.
He is. He
you gotta
loves
think
it.
You got to think about it. You have to
I
think
thought about it.
I don't think they would even think about it. I believe the Bengals
I didn't really
are
think about it. I'm sitting there listening to you going, this guy's lost his damn mind.
I don't think the Jets would do it. I honestly don't think they would give up 4
They
picks.
may not,
They may
but
give up 3.
They should.
I don't know, man. In their situation, because I don't know. I don't think I would if I was in their situation. I wouldn't do it if I was the Bengals. I do think you're set up to win.
Look, a lot of Joe Burrow's injuries, some of them's been fluky, but some of them hasn't. Like the knee was not.
Oh,
that was a straight up offensive line mishap that just totally, destroyed that year.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of the problems that they've had, they've caused on ourselves. It's not Joe Burrow's fault. I mean, even the toe. Let's be honest. The Reisner's the one that missed the block.
Yeah.
That made him move up in the pocket. That made him plant like he did. Mm-hmm. Chances are, if you've got a top 5 offensive line at that time, maybe that doesn't even happen. So just
you're going to get hit though. I mean, this is the NFL,
and he's been hit a ton, and he's hung in there on some really bad hits.
Oh yeah.
I mean that hit he took
he got hit
against
hard
Jacksonville when he said you can't zero me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, absolutely. He had 1.5 seconds.
Yeah.
It was hike ball out to Uzama, and he got freaking slammed. Got right back up. You can't zero.
Oh, he's tough.
That's the kind of guy he is.
But
that's why you're an idiot.
No, you got to think about stuff, man. You got to think about it with everybody. Like, you have to look at it. Why aren't we winning? And it's not.
He's untouchable. In my mind, he's untouchable.
I think he is too. I think Jamar is too, probably, and that's it though.
Yes.
And they might. I doubt they would trade T. You never know. If the right offer comes along, make me an offer I can't refuse.
What a wasted segment.
That's not a wasted segment.
I'm sorry we had to sit here and you had to listen to that bull crap.
I bet there's a lot of people that would consider it.
It's something to talk about and think about for about 10 seconds or so. But
the draft lovers would probably jump all over, right? The draft lovers would jump all over. That's a lot of picks.
I love the draft. Don't get me wrong, but it's not. It's just I want those known commodities. I just want those guys I know that has done it in the league. And that can come in and teach these other guys also. That's what I want. Leadership and just
need a mix.
Just ballers, right? Just
need a mix. And the Bengals have went, instead of a mix, they went, let's throw a bunch of young guys. Al Golden said it. He took a shot at Duke. I don't think he meant to. But when have you seen a team start 2 rookie linebackers? That's what he said. That was a dig. I don't think he meant it to be, but it is. He's right. I said it every year. You can't put this many draft picks on the roster and expect to win, right? So trade up, get the players you want. Cut some people, send Yoshi.
Especially when they overdrafted the guys. Anyway, Carter probably not. He
That's
probably
where he's probably
but Knight was probably a third and maybe an early third. But regardless, he wouldn't have probably been there at 3 and third round for him.
Yeah,
but
it's tough,
very tough.
All right, moving on to the draft, a couple things, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. Get your thoughts. So I went back and looked at what I thought about Jenkins with Michigan, right? Defensive tackle for the Bengals. And I looked at Peter Woods. I think I'd draft Jenkins over him. Everybody's going nuts over Woods. I watched the tape, went back, look at what I thought of him, look what I think about Woods. If they take him at 10, that's going to be one strategic.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't think he's that good.
I'm not high on. I'm not high on Woods.
I think he's a solid
He's
quality
one
starter.
of the handful of guys that I've looked at too.
He's a quality starter.
Yeah,
and that's
not what they need.
I think Jenkins should be that. That's the part I don't understand. Right. You look at his length, his size. He had better stats at Michigan than what he did at Clemson. Like, I thought he'd be a decent pick. Not a star, but a pretty solid pick.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna give him 8 weeks this year. Is what I'm gonna give him.
Because
he was hurt. He wore that club the first year. So really, did he really get to work on everything? I mean, you got to have your hands, and he didn't have them, right?
Especially
and he missed the time and then came back and couldn't play like he wanted to. So I think that that hampered him badly,
big time.
So last year you could almost say was a semi-rookie year. So I'm going to give him a good 8 or 9 games this year. Let's see how he comes out of camp. When we go down there, trust me, my eyes are going to be on that defensive line. Jackson actually played better than what he did last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He penetrated better. Hopefully these guys, man, they got to have them. These guys have got
those two guys haven't played well, and then Zach Carter they cut, right? So it's been big misses. So
big misses.
So here's the draft board. I'm not going to share it today, but I will another time. So Hall of Fame talent 9.6 above, 9.5 to 9.3 is perennial All Pro caliber 9 to 9.2, 8.9 to 8.7 is high end starter. How many Hall of Fame talents do you think I have in this upcoming draft? It is windy.
Man, that's putting me on the spot. There's a lot of players. I mean, hell, there might be 5th rounders that become it, but I'm just thinking first round. I'm gonna say 5.
0.
You got 0.
That's a rare breed. Like, that's where the class gets knocked. I've got several perennial All Pros. That's a big time pick, right?
Yeah.
But Hall of Famer, that's tough.
That's up there.
Yeah, it's up there. Surefire Hall of Famer. That's when you look back. They always use the example like Calvin Johnson or Garrett. When Garrett got drafted.
So you tricked me because you talked about this draft tackle like it was the best draft class you ever seen.
Really good class.
And then you say 0.
So you look back at that's the point I'm getting at is when people rate them, they do one of 2 things. Typically, they knock them too hard. They shred them apart. The class. This class sucks. And really, mid to level, mid first round on, if you're getting quality or high end starters in the first round, that's big time.
It is big time, especially early.
15 on. Now, if you're getting top 10, you're trying to get that perennial All Pro, and that's a big time pick, right? It's not. You're not going to get Myles Garrett every class. It's rare, right? A few of those guys. So this class is pretty good, I think. So we'll see. We'll talk about that. And a couple more thoughts. You got any? I got one sleeper for you, my boy. This guy is Gabe Yakis from Illinois. Watch him. If the Bengals took Downs, hopefully they do at 10 if he's there. I don't know. Never know about that degenerative knee thing, right? Is it real? Is it not real? I got leaked some reports on that a few years ago. I told you that, right? About a guy having a degenerative knee. I'll just say, I'm not going to say who the player was. But he got picked in the first round. Somebody told me he's got a degenerative knee problem, and the guy that picked him knows it. And guess what? Out of the league in 5 years.
Right.
So you just never know, right? I don't think it's true, but they'll have to do their homework on that. So who knows? But Gabe, if they do pick Downs, Yakis there from Illinois, look him up, defensive end, long. I think that guy could be a really good player for him in the second round. So your thoughts on that? We'll talk more draft as we get going. Are you excited about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
I'm super pumped. I took a half a day, so
we'll be here.
We'll be here. I'll be here early. We'll have the TV on. We'll have our X feeds refreshing. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. We'll drink some beer, hang out. We'll probably just set the camera up wherever, and we'll just sit here and bullshit and
take your comments.
And join us.
Yeah, join us. Comment. So we did the draft last year. We had, I don't know, several people commenting back and forth. Also, that reminds me,
really fun.
YouTube, thank you to all the viewers out there. I keep forgetting to do that. I couldn't tell you how many comments are on the old videos I post. I try to keep up with them. Like your comments. There's a bunch coming through. That's so great. I know I'm stirring the nostalgia in some of you. So if you like old NFL primetime, HBO Inside the NFL, NBA games, even old ones, go on there. There's a ton of them. Bengals clips, Brotherhood of the Bengal on YouTube. Anything else you want to add before we get up on out here? Free agency time. I'm excited. One final question before you wrap us up. If they traded Joe Burrow to the Jets, would you buy a Burrow Jets jersey? Would you?
No.
You wouldn't?
No,
You said you'd be done with the Bengals if they traded him.
did I say that today?
You didn't
I
say it
didn't
today.
today.
You said it, but not today. You wouldn't be done with the Bengals
I
if they
wouldn't be
traded.
done with the Bengals, but
Man,
it
180.
It would be. I mean, for one, it ain't gonna happen unless he's 35 or
It's not
40
gonna
when they trade him. But
All the rumors out there. The reason I even brought it up because there's been one rumor after another. He wants out. He's getting traded.
yeah,
I don't believe
he doesn't want to
leave.
leave his buddy. He doesn't want to leave T and Jamar.
I don't believe it.
I mean,
not buying it,
no.
but it is good to banty it about. But I don't buy it. So, all right, take us on home, big boy.
Thanks for listening to the Brotherhood of the Bengal podcast. Catch us on Spotify, YouTube. Catch us on our live Monday. We can't wait. It's going to be fun. All slow traffic. Stay to the right. Peace out.
Voices rise as one.